Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Cookies. My name's Lindsay, and today's Tuesday. Today's going to be a great day. And yes, I'm so thrown off this morning. I'm so sorry. Let me reset that. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Cookies. My name's Lindsay. Today's show is sponsored by Social Media Torch. Make sure if you need any social media services, you contact them. Let me introduce Nick, who can't even hold his head up right now. He's laughing so hard.
This morning has been a morning of trials, and I'm going to share a story with you guys if I don't pull my mic back out of the holder again. And the reason why Lindsay's thrown off is completely my fault. I'm going to own it today because something happened this morning and it kind of put me in a bad mood. Okay. And when Nick gets in a bad mood, Nick has a lot of energy that he creates.
It just rolls.
It's like a steamroller. If you're in a positive mood and I'm in a bad mood, one of two things are going to happen. Either we're going to clash like titans, or I'm going to steamroll you.
No, I don't think I've been either of those.
Or you're like Lindsay, like, I'm just going to be quiet.
Yes, that is what I have done this morning. I'm just going to
That's me steamrolling someone.
Let him brood.
There you go, right?
I'm not going to let him affect my positive, but...
But like all walls are up. All walls are up.
When I went to bring out my positive, it kind of stumbled a minute. It's like, whoa. Well,
and the negative mood comes from something within me that I'm working through. Okay. And I'm working through it. And now you guys are going to be on this journey with me today. I'm working through it because I've realized that, guess what? I am a parent that expects a lot from my kids. I expect a lot from my kids. Oh, we're doing a little split screen action right here. So that way you can watch Lindsay's facial expressions.
Because those are way fun.
Yeah, right. You know, I am a parent that expects a lot from my kids. And sometimes when I discipline my kids, I forget that they're 5, 3, and 1. Mm-hmm. Right. And it was interesting because today I disciplined my 5-year-old like she had the understanding of a teenager. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm loud. I am very loud. Mm-hmm. And I used my voice, and after it got done, after it was over, and after she apologized, and then I apologized, and we got back in sync, and we moved forward, I still had this heaviness on my heart. Like, did I really need to use those words? Now, for those of you that, again, don't know me, I am 99.9% of the time positive, right? For me to go negative, for me to have to use my voice in a negative direction, there's been something that is pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and the positive is no longer working, so I have to use the negative to reset the child. Okay, now, you may hear that and go, oh, you need to know what my negative is. My negative is not cussing at my kids. My negative is not beating my kids. Okay? So if that's where your mind went, that's on you. You need to adjust. Mm-hmm. Okay? My way of going negative is just getting loud. Okay? I get loud, and guess what? I make my kids do push-ups. Mm-hmm. I go right back to my coaching background. I go right back to my military background. We're going to do push-ups. We're going to do sit-ups, but I am going to be loud.
It was
okay.
Funny. We were at your house one night, and you, like, the girls weren't listening, and one girl wasn't listening, and you asked her, what did I say you were going to do if you didn't listen? And they're like, push-ups.
Yes.
Like, no. Run a lap, run the stairs,
run the stairs, right? So, and the reason why I bring this up is I know that there are going to be people that are watching that are going to say, oh, well, you know, maybe he's like my dad, maybe he's cussing at me, right. Or maybe he's like my dad or my prior father, maybe he was beating me. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when I tell you that I go negative, it's not to that, it's me using my voice, and it's me making my kids work out. Okay. But if you heard the beginning, I tried to explain something in a way that a teenager could understand and not a 5-year-old could understand. And I've been working on myself now for the last hour of why did I go down that direction and how can I change that? Okay. And y'all about to get a little hint. Y'all about to get a little story here, okay? and here's why I'm going to share this. Here's why I'm going to share this. Because you need to understand that you need to become the wall, okay? You need to understand that you need to start thinking the way I think like this and go, man, I reacted or I responded in this way. I need to become the wall and I need to stop that negativity here.
Right.
Okay? And I figured out that the reason why I reacted and responded that way is because of experiences that I had when I was a kid. Okay. From the way that from the way that I was disciplined. Okay. And some of you might think like, oh, well, you know, are you really going to throw your parents under the bus like this? No, I'm not throwing my parents under the bus. My grandparents were very hard on my parents. I know that because I got to meet my grandparents. Okay. My parents did everything they could to give us the best upbringing that they could, right?
Sure.
My dad worked his butt off to provide for us. My mom had 3 sons and a daughter that had very strong personalities. Okay. So they did the best that they could to help move us forward. Okay. So, but now it is my responsibility as the parent to now move my family forward. Okay. So the situation got done. And if you actually, and I'm going to say this is going to offend someone. Okay. If you actually love your kid, you will, after you have to discipline your kid, you will sit down and you will process the way you disciplined your child to make sure that you did it in a loving manner. To make sure that you have done it in a way that's going to benefit them and in a way that's not going to tear them down.
Well, I think it's not just if you love your kid, but if you want to grow, it's that growth mentality of, could I adjust this? Could I have done this better?
Absolutely. There you go.
How could I have done this better just so that they understood it differently? Or could I have said this differently? It's not, I don't know if I would necessarily go, you don't have to.
You don't have to. I will. You don't have to. I will. And maybe you're like, Nick, that's a little harsh. Okay. Man up, woman up. Here we go. Right. I just gave you a new challenge. You're like, Nick, I never thought of that before. Great. Here's your new challenge. Okay. If you love your kids and you have to discipline them, make sure that you have yourself within check and you are thinking, how could I have done this better?
And if you don't, it's okay to apologize. It's good and healthy.
I do apologize to my kids. Absolutely. Because they need to learn how to forgive the same way you need to learn how to forgive. Because if you can't forgive, you can't move forward.
And apologize.
Oh man, some people just don't know how to apologize, right?
Joe.
Okay. So when I'm in that processing mindset, my aura per se,
Lindsay doesn't talk.
is not exactly positive.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And the reason for that is I'm not negative, but I'm trying to figure out the why behind it. Why did I respond that way? Okay. And now when I get home, how do I do it a little bit better? Okay. It's not like, and some people think like, oh, you're going to debrief that situation and it's going to magically get better overnight. If you're a parent, I'm not asking you to change overnight. Right. What I am saying is take that little step forward. Take that little step forward. Take that little step forward. And a month from now, a quarter from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, you're going to look back and go, wow, look at the progress I've made.
Right.
Okay.
And that's why it's so important to, after you go through that, is to reflect and say, okay, how did I do? Measure yourself up to your new standard and say, okay, well, I did a little bit better with this, but I still need to work with this.
And here, I'm going to tell you where I made the mistake. I'm going to own it. I'm going to own it in front of everyone on Facebook and YouTube. Are you ready for this?
Hashtag Nick made a mistake.
Which is rare.
Nick was
very
wrong.
rare. Very rare. Like you better document this. I'm gonna actually lower my microphone. I'm going into the yellow here. There we go. That's better. Okay. I did not start with the question, why? I saw what was going on. I stepped in as the parent and put my foot down, and I went through my discipline. And at the end of it, I asked why. Oh my goodness.
A little backwards.
Oh, all kinds of backwards.
But she, from your story, from what I've heard, she gave you a why. It's not what she wanted.
It's not what she wanted. Correct.
Right?
Correct.
That's what you had heard at the beginning.
That was what
was her
there.
why.
You want to know what? That was very good. Yes, that is what I heard at the beginning.
Right. But you have this new rule.
But I have a new rule. I do have a new rule. And it's so funny because I used it on Nolan last night. I used it on my wife last night. And then I get into the situation and I forgot my own rule.
You know, it was first thing in the morning. You got to give yourself a little bit of grace.
Yeah. I will be the hardest on myself.
I think that's where we all struggle.
And that's okay. So here we go, right? Here's where Nick made the mistake. I didn't ask the 5 whys. I only got to the first one.
It was the surface one. It's not what I wanted.
And when the surface one, when you tell me that's just not what I wanted, when my daughters tell me that's not what they wanted and they start to break down and cry and whine, that does not fly in my household.
Right.
Okay. So I go into discipline. Okay. Next version of discipline.
Yeah, I do as well because it's not what I wanted. Depending on the situation, it's like, oh, it's not what you wanted. Well, do you want this instead? Because this is an option. But we need to be grateful for what we have. Like I go through that in my own household of, let's be grateful. Let's have an attitude of gratitude.
And I went that direction.
Right.
I just went that direction a little strong. Okay. There's a reason why Lindsay, we consider her the cookie that she's the sweet one. Okay. There's a reason why I have a wife who's extremely sweet, right? I am the caffeine. I'm the energy. And sometimes my energy is a little misdirected.
Pow. He's the pow.
I'm the pow. So here we go. Just so you know, my kids did not get any spankings with this. Okay. And my kids did not. Did I use my voice? Yes. But did I use any kind of bad words at them? No. And you as a parent need to understand this. Okay. What you speak to them when you're frustrated and what you speak to them when you're angry, you need to be very careful about the words that you use at them.
Yes.
When it does, and you want, I'll say this even when they're adults, you need to be careful about the words that you use when you speak about them.
Yes.
Okay.
Because words hurt more than
words can't. No.
I think so.
No.
Because words don't leave.
Have you seen my kids? My kids bounce back that like, oh, you used words.
But
they're
you're
already
not
over
using the hurtful words.
No. You're yes and no. I do believe there's a time for spankings, and I do believe that words can hurt.
Which is why I'm telling you to be careful.
Which is
with
correct.
What you say, because words can hurt and they can leave a lasting impression.
Which is exactly where a lot of this is as I'm learning about myself, where a lot of this is coming from. Okay.
And now, how long have you carried it with you? How long have those words been affecting your life?
We're not going to go down that road. Okay.
Just saying.
Because there's a point where you have to let go of those words. But here we go. I also remember the spankings. I remember them vividly. Okay. Now we're not going down my history. We're focused on this point in time. Okay. Now, when I got done, because I didn't ask the 5 whys, I only got to the first why. By the time I got to the 3rd why, I didn't even have to go to 5. The 3rd why, I actually got her to think, why is she acting this way? And the truth came out. And when the truth came out, it was so cute. It was so thoughtful. I was like, oh my goodness, I did this so backwards.
Yeah.
So here we go, right? I did it backwards. I know I did it backwards. I'm acknowledging I did it backwards. Okay. This is how you heal. This is how you move forward. When you've identified it, then you need to acknowledge it, and then you need to make a plan for how you're going to do it better. Okay. So the next time my daughter does this, okay, I hear the first why, which is probably not going to make me happy, because it's probably going to be a repeat. Because why? She's 5 years old. Right? She's 5 years old. Okay. I see it. I hear it. But now I know I need to ask why again. I see it. I hear the second why. Maybe I still don't like it. But let's get to that third why, fourth why. And you want, if I get all the way to the fifth why and I still don't like it, guess what? Push-ups. Here we go. Here we go.
So when you were talking about how you did it backwards, it brought up something that I used to teach in class when we would talk about growth mindset. So in your brain, you have all these neural pathways, and it's so easy for us to divert to our default.
Correct.
Because that neural pathway is so strong. And when you are in a growth mindset and you're trying to develop a new habit or a new default, you're creating, I always explained it to my kids of like, you're cutting a new path through a jungle.
That's good.
And that path is going to be rough. And it's not going to be your first choice because there's bugs and there's stuff in your way and there's stumps sticking out. And it's going to take you longer to walk that path, but it's a better path, right?
You haven't walked through a jungle, have you?
No. I've walked through the woods. Maybe the woods.
You said bugs and stumps. I'm like, oh, you've never walked through a jungle. That's not
There's
what you're
sticking up. And okay, anyway, when you walk through the woods, that's what you get. Okay.
Not trees, just stumps.
Anyway, you can take the path that's well worn that has,
a trail,
right? That's your default. When you're building that new pathway, it's going to take work and you have to travel it on purpose multiple times.
There you go. Right.
Okay. So once you develop that other pathway is not going to be as worn because you stopped using it. And eventually that one is going to get overgrown and kind of shrink in your neural pathways. So that's how the brain neural pathways work when you're changing your default from one to another.
That's a really good analogy. That really was. I'm gonna have some fun with it.
Yeah.
So
whatever.
But here we go. Right. And you're right. I do need to make sure that I do give myself a little bit of grace on this, right? Because I am building a new neural pathway. I'm 40 years old. That's 40 years of a certain direction. Okay.
Right.
And when you think about that incorporates not just my upbringing, that incorporates a lot of my coaching background, that incorporates a lot of my military background, that incorporates a lot of I'm wired this direction.
Right.
Okay. And now we're talking about going this direction. Why? Because when I was a coach, they were 5 years old and up. They were 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and into the teenage years. I'm talking about tiny people. Okay. 5 years old and younger. Yeah, I don't know what younger is. I don't know what younger is, but you know, 5 years old and younger. And it just is something where you have to shift.
Yeah.
You do have to shift.
And I think, so going to that neural pathway thing, I think that's why it's such more.
Good. I'm not the only one. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's so much more difficult for older people to change their defaults because they've been walking that same default for so long. It's like, it's just part of who they are, but it can be done.
It can change. Do not use that as an excuse.
Right.
I'm not using my default as an excuse. I'm identifying it. I am labeling it. And now I'm creating a plan to change it. I understand that everyone's walked up the path that way.
Right.
I get it. I've walked up the path that way. But you want to know what? I found a better way. And it might be a little overgrown right now.
Yep.
It might take a machete
right.
to cut my way through.
Yes.
Right? It might take a bulldozer
yes.
to cut that way through. But eventually I'm going to move in this direction here. And because of that, because I'm actively choosing to make that happen, my kids are going to be able to have a new point to start their their kid years, their teenage years, their young adult years, their parenting years, right, in a better direction. And
love it.
That as a parent is what you need to do. You need to, which is exactly what our grandparents did, which is what our parents did. And now our jobs, our call is to give our kids a better place to step up. Now, hear me on this. You just heard me share my heart, but at no point in time did I allow the child to take control of the relationship. At no point in time did I allow the child to start leading the household. Okay? When I apologize to my daughters and my daughters apologize back to me, there is still a hierarchy in place. They still understand that they are the child.
Right.
Okay? They still understand that daddy is the leader, mommy is the leader. We're not perfect, but we're the leaders in the household. Okay? And this is why this is important. When you apologize, you are not giving up your strength. You're not giving up your position. Okay? You are teaching your child that it is okay to apologize. Okay? You as the parent are still responsible for leading the family. So do not take what I said and flip that. Go, I need to apologize to my kid and I need to give them whatever they want.
No.
And I need to, and I'm starting to relinquish control of my kids. I'm not saying that.
No.
I'm saying, yes, you still need to have discipline, but if you discipline, make sure that you have a debrief in your own mind of why did this happen? How do we get here? How do I make this better? Okay. But you want to know what? There are some times where kids are just going to be kids and they're going to need a spanking. They're going to need to go to their room. They're going to need a time out. They're going to need to be mentally and maybe even physically reset in a loving manner. Okay. Last night, it was time for bed. I told my girls, I said, if I have to come up here, okay, because they were playing and the baby Sydney's trying to sleep. If I have to come up here, you each are going to get a spanking. Okay. Now, I went downstairs, 10 minutes went by. I'm hearing them. I go upstairs and I want to show you. I go back upstairs. I turn on that light and both of them look at me because they know I've set the expectation. They're going to get a spanking.
Yeah.
So I walk up to London, say, London, turn around. She turns around and that's it. I say, Isla, turn around, and just enough so they know. Okay?
Well, and you're also following through of your word.
I'm following through.
Which is huge for kids. Because if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, it clicks in their brain.
They know.
They understand that.
They know that.
Like, oh, daddy said that, but he doesn't mean it.
He doesn't mean it. That is a very good point. So here, I'm going to finish my story. We're going to go down this saying things that you're not willing to follow through on, okay?
Okay.
So London is like, okay, I get it. Isla starts crying.
Yeah.
And it's not the pain. It's the emotion. I just got a spanking from daddy.
Right.
Right? I'm...
Because really, Isla's wearing a pull-up, right?
Yes, Isla does. Yes,
I mean, like, she can't even feel it. It's like she fell down from running around.
As tough
you
as
know
that
what
girl
I mean?
is,
She's so tough.
We actually wrestled for 45 minutes, and they were kicking and fighting and punching and pulling on daddy's hair and wrestling. It was a great time. I was legitimately sweating after wrestling with them for 45 minutes. They're getting strong.
Mm-hmm. You're making them do push-ups.
There you go, right? So I give them both their spanking. So I follow through, and as I leave, I say, if I have to come up here again, it's going to be a harder spanking.
Yeah.
They now know. I have set the expectation. Mm-hmm. So I go back downstairs, and sure enough,
oh man,
they still don't listen. Still. And it's getting late now. Mm-hmm. It's getting late. And I say, Amber, I've told them if I go up there, it's going to be a harder spanking. can you please go up there? Because I am going to follow through on my word. But sweetheart, I didn't say if you went up there, right? So Amber went up there and, you know, she kind of like, Isla's like dead tired, like just so tired. But, you know,
She's
London's
so tired. She gets her second and third wind.
She is. And London is just, so Amber goes up there and finally, you know, like Isla like falls asleep and then London's able to finally calm down and go to bed. But let's talk about this.
Okay.
I was not expecting this show to go down this direction today.
Right. It's not even.
But how many parents do you see tell their kid, there's a consequence if you do that? The kid does it. And I've watched this happen.
And the parent doesn't.
Not even that. The kid will look at the parent and go, now what? Like that look of, now what? Like you said you were going to do about it. Exactly. And here we go, right? That happens in public. That tells me that you're not following through in the house.
Right.
Because if you were following through, on the discipline in your home,
they would know.
That kid will know not to do that in public.
Right.
They will know. And now you've said that you're going to do this in public and everyone's watching. So now you got to go spank your kid. And now people are like, oh my goodness. And here we go, right? You haven't practiced spanking your kids, so you don't know how to do it. Because you'll see this. You'll see parents spank their kids and you'd be like, that's interesting. That was a little over the top. They really didn't need to get hit. They didn't need that hard of a spanking for what they did, right? And it's like if you've practiced spanking or they flat out miss. Or they flat out miss and they hit the kid's legs or the kid's back, right? They're aiming for the butt. They're aiming for the cushy spot. But they miss it, right? And here we go. If you've set the expectation in the household and you're disciplining in the household, a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times you won't have to do that in public. Now, have I had to spank my kids in public? Yes. It's happened. Okay. Have I had to put my kids in timeout in public? Yes. It's happened. Have I had to use my voice in public? Yes. It's happened. Okay. So everything I'm telling you is not me coming at you going, look at me, I'm perfect. I'm saying I've had to experience this. I've had to grow through this. Right. Listen to what I'm saying and start trying to think of a plan now. Okay. But above all, never make a disciplinary, I'm going to do X unless you're willing to follow it up.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Don't do that.
Yes.
Because if you do that in the household, then when you get into public and you say, I'm going to do X, that kid will look at you very defiantly. Because they know you're not going to do it. And now that you have made a disciplinary, you've said something, but now your actions don't follow up with what you've said. Now, not only have you lost the leadership role, okay, but you've lost that authority.
You've also taught them something.
Ooh, okay, I'm interested. Go. What have you taught them?
You've taught them that you don't have to listen.
Ooh.
I don't have to listen. Mom asked me to clean my room. I don't have to do it. Mom asked me to do this. Mom asked me to eat my vegetables. I don't have to do it.
Right?
Dad asked me to do this. No, I'm not doing it. My son last night, I said the trash was full. And he's always asking, Mom, can I take out the trash? Mom, can I? And like on trash nights.
Yes.
Rolling
that's awesome.
The carts. I know. That's awesome. And so when I got home last night or yesterday, he was watching TV. And I picked him up, I hugged him, and I said, we're going to talk about a plan for what you can do after school. So I don't like that you watch TV every time that I come home. I don't like it. So let's think of a plan of things that you can do instead of that.
I like this.
Right? So Lexi she's at daycare. She doesn't watch TV all day, or she doesn't. I don't honestly know, but
Miss Jamie does not sit the kids in front of the TV all day. They're so active.
So many
projects, right?
But so I'm like, after dinner we were cleaning up. I'm like, they were wrestling and stuff, and they're like, I don't know what to do, and I don't know, blah blah blah. So I'm like, well, Lexi, let's go watch some TV. And Tristan was like, oh, can I come? I'm like, no, buddy, you already watched your TV today.
Okay.
So he had to stay in the living room. Lexi got to go into mom's room, watch some TV, snuggle on my bed, and he hated it. Because he couldn't go in there and watch. He's like, can I go see what she's watching? I'm like, no, it doesn't matter what she's watching.
So, and the reason you did this was why?
Because I don't like too much screen time.
What is too much screen time to Lindsay's household? 16 hours.
Right? No. Like more than 2 hours.
Whoa.
Because if you think about it, a movie is an hour and a half. Right?
Too much screen time in my household's way less than that. I was surprised he got that.
All day?
Um,
You're telling me that
yes, we've actually been.
they don't watch a movie during the day and then they
No.
don't watch Bluey at night?
They watch 2 Blueys, 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, you're better than me.
No,
But
it's
that
not a
includes-
competition.
That includes like their tablet or whatever. So 2 hours, like gaming, anything.
Okay.
2 hours total. And he was watching at least 2 hours by the time I got home.
Wow. Okay.
So that's why I'm like, I can't, this is not
Right.
good. Like, we're getting into a habit. We need to break this habit. So let's think of a plan. So he's sitting there, he's kind of pouting. And I said, well, Tristan, the trash needs taken out. Would you please come take the trash out? He's like, no, I don't want to. I'm like, let me rephrase that. Tristan, the trash needs taking out. I need you to come and take care of this, please. And he's like, again, no. I'm like, it's not an option.
It's not.
You're going to come take care of the trash and you're going to go take it out to the garage.
Even if you have a bad mood.
Even if you yes.
Because you, even though you're in a bad mood, that does not allow you to not have to do, does not allow you to not have to take care of your responsibilities.
Right.
Okay.
And it's not his responsibility all the time, but it's this, we're teaching you how to help take care of the house. We're teaching you to, there's things that you can do as a 6-year-old to help with the family. And you're learning those responsibilities.
That's good. That's good. And so now that you've set the expectation, now when he comes home, what can he do? What can he do? So then when it's TV time in the evening, he gets to participate.
So today I told him that he could have music on. Grammy's going to help him turn some music on. Okay. And I want him to just play in the playroom.
Okay. You could also send him over to my house. Seriously. I mean, by the time my kids get home, they're playing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he could come over, he could play, right? You could just ask Amber, right? 1, 2. I mean, it was a beautiful day yesterday. Okay. So something that we're doing a little bit more of is I'm going to be doing a little bit more work at night, right?
Right.
So with that, we are going to be a bit more intentional about leaving on time. And you want to know what I'm going to be doing when I get home? Hey, I'm changing clothes. It's a beautiful day. It's 68 degrees outside. We're going outside.
Well, and it's not getting dark quite as early, is it?
It's still getting dark pretty early.
It is, but it's still not 5 o'clock.
It's
it's not 5 o'clock when it's getting dark.
Yeah, sure. Let's roll with that. So here we go. Right.
Anyway.
I hope you guys have heard. I hope you guys have heard. My feelings and my voice on this. I hope that you will take what you've heard me go through today, what I went through this morning, and figure out, okay, 1, how do I discipline my kid correctly? 2, how do I make sure that I don't use words of this is the discipline that's going to happen to you, okay, if you don't do X, if you're not willing to follow through with it. And 3, make sure that when you ask for forgiveness, okay, of your child, or when your child asks for forgiveness, you give it and receive it. And 4, make sure that you are not relinquishing. Yes, I think that word's correct.
That is correct.
Control of your leadership in the household to your kids. Okay, if I had to summarize this whole episode, those would be my big 4 takeaways. Because
It's so funny how we have different takeaways.
what are your 4 or 3 or 500 or whatever?
Wow. But those weren't my lessons.
What were your lessons?
I wasn't in it. So looking from it from an outside perspective, it was, debrief after you discipline your kid.
Ooh, there you go. I like that.
Right? Debrief so that you can continue to learn better. Debrief in different ways. It doesn't even have to be when you're disciplining your kid. If you're trying to change your default, debrief on how you can do better. And give yourself some grace because you're cutting through the forest or the jungle or whatever mosh pit. What? I don't even know.
A mosh pit.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a mosh pit. Do not go cut people in mosh pits.
Oh, yeah. What is it? I don't even know. I'm not from that area. Anyway, so
Yeah.
cut through your jungle, your forest. That's what I'm going to stick to because that's what I know.
There you go.
But
even though she's never been in a jungle.
too, I have been. It's been a long time. And my third one is the follow through.
Yes, definitely follow through. Okay, so
Anyway,
today was a parenting lesson. Learn from us, learn from our experiences. If you have a parenting experience and you want to come share it, and it's gonna help other parents,
yes.
then we want to hear about it.
Yep.
Okay. And you can definitely come be a guest on the show as long as you're bringing value. Bring the value, right? So it is Tuesday. How far did you get in your big 3 for the week?
It's only Tuesday.
I know. I already got 1 done.
Yeah, actually, I do too. I've been working on. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Actually, I have 1 for today done already.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Here's how that happened. I left my laptop at the house, so I had to go back and
So I
get
got
it.
to work.
So Lindsay had the whole office to herself. I'm just gonna go downstairs and work. So make sure you have your big 3 for the week. Make sure you're crunching through it today. If the big 3 are definitely the rocks in your life, what are the stones of today? What needs to be done today that's going to help get the big 3 done for the week? Okay.
Right.
Because emails are going to come in, requests are going to come in, customers are going to have questions, prospects are going to have questions, and that's all the sand that's going to fill in the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Make sure that you bring your positive. If you're in a negative point, okay, go listen to Dr. Billy Alsbrooks. Go listen to Pastor Keith. Okay. Go listen and just think. And maybe you're like, Nick, I don't need to listen. I need to process. Okay, great. Take 10 minutes and process.
Right.
You're like, Nick, but I don't have someone to call and
walk
talk
me
to.
through it, or
Yes. Hey, call a friend. Call a friend if you're like, Nick, I really don't have that friend. Okay, message me. I have a list of people that you can talk to, and here's why you're like, Nick, you're not going to listen. No, because I'm not trained for that. Right? I'm figuring out parenting right now, y'all. Okay, I'm still learning there. All right. So make sure that you have that. Thank you guys for being in the comments. Thank you guys for liking.
Yes.
There may have been some errors in this video because I'm noticing the stream went kind of up and down a little bit. So if this video does not play well, I will actually repost the recorded version of this. That's nice and smooth. So that way, just know that may happen if you watch through and you're like, it was kind of hoppy. But thank you guys for being in the comments. Thank you guys for being, for liking. That's how we know to pray for you. We're going to go get to work today because we're coming up on 40 minutes. Make sure that you
rise up.
crush it. Bye,
Bye,
y'all.
y'all.